With our community, starting as you see in 1945, the facility was established in 1959. Our current site, with a couple renovations in the 80s and the 90s. We became Metaldyne in 2000 and MPG in 2016. We have approximately 220,000 square feet, that's between both facilities, with 175 employees. Now we manufacture engine dampers, both rubber and viscous, and engine balance shaft. Here we're showing our diverse customer base: Ford, Cummins, Volvo, FCA, Nissan, GM, and the small sliver there, we want to leave those folks out, AM General and John Deere. So let's dive right into it. Our project emerged as a result of a safety audit of our lockout and tagout training system. And in review of our energy isolation placards, which are the instructions for proper lockout, we found many of the details to be a bit vague. In that, the old format did not describe the actual location for each lockout point. It did not instruct the individual performing the lockout on which type of lockout devices to use. And it didn't contain specific details on the lockout verification procedure. So here we have our old format and our new format. And if you look at the old format, say in the perform action column under air, it says push, pull, handle out, lockout. That's just a little bit vague. Now, being a maintenance technician like myself for 30 years, I understand they're talking about an air dump valve. But again, the details are lacking there. And to the right is our new format. And you can see we have greater detail with that and all the criteria, specific focus and clarity on the verification procedure. And we developed this format into 4 distinct sections. Where's the laser in this? Okay, on top we have our title block. The next section is the pictorial section. Then we have a legend section, and most importantly, our instruction set. So let's take a look at the new energy isolation format. The title block again. We have a visual reminder of what devices you're supposed to use: the hasp, the lock, and the tag. Of course, we have specific equipment identification, and our logo proudly displayed. So we decided, once we started looking into how we set our document up, how are we going to identify everything on the equipment? So we created icons, and you saw in the previous slide, we had all the detailed icons off to one side with a legend. So here what we've done is we took some equipment and we went through and specifically analyzed that and said, how can we identify all these points? And we did just that. We took maintenance personnel, engineers, and we went out onto the line and we placed the icons to identify the lockout points and verification points. Using those tags, we identified the lockout points and verification points, but we also said we need to have some photographs on our placards as well. It's easily identifiable. And the legend section. Here we talk about, we depict our icons on the left, our document control information, and our lockout guidelines. And the instruction set. Column to the left, energy type and source, describes which type of energy is present on the machine. We have the checkbox that's included, and our icons for the description of type of energy. And lockout location. Here we're giving specific location. It may be hard to see, but under pneumatic pressure, the main air line has a lockable ball valve lever on the left-hand side of the machine, approximately 3 feet above the floor. So, specific location makes it readily obtainable. And procedure for locking out and releasing stored energy, again, greater detail. This column provides all that information. And our last column, verification procedure. What we've done here is, a lot of times when you go to an energy isolation placard, it says, okay, verify that there's 0 volts on an electrical disconnect. How are you going to do that? Use a meter. So we make sure we give all those details to the personnel locking out that equipment. So our improvements were completed. What we found, a secondary underlying project, if you will, training. So we modified our training material accordingly. And I think many of you will agree that any system, no matter how well it's managed, doesn't have any real substance unless there's good training to support it. So we made sure that we went through it quite diligently. And on the right, you can see we have an understanding the energy control procedure. We went through and revamped that entire system so everyone understood how do you lock this machine out? Where do you start? Do you notify affected employees? Cleaning the area, we've depicted that all in there. So we've gotten pretty comprehensive with it, we feel. So our approach on the project was a bit of a Six Sigma style concept. We standardized an operation by creating a new document. We measured the operation somewhat. We audited what labels we were going to make and what kind of icons. We gauged those measurements against requirements. We quantified the labels and how many people we were going to need to do the project itself. And innovate to meet requirements and increase productivity. So the tags and the icons make the task much simpler, but moreover, they know where all those lockout points and verification points are. Standardize the new and improved operations. Standardize this design, this document design. And continue the cycle of review and revise. And for the future, create electronic access to all documents for authorized employees. Add digital photos, which we've already started that phase. And create a procedure for equipment upgrades, new components, refurbishment, adding peripheral equipment, and once we have that, we alter the document as needed. So, summary, we're divided into 4 sections. We think they're pretty easy to understand sections. Lockout points and verification points are tagged and identified. Detailed instruction on our energy release and verification. And we revised the training material in a comprehensive fashion. And the cost of the project was quite minimal, actually. We had less than $700 into it, and we planned a lot of the activity with maintenance personnel during PM, so it's kind of a double win there. And none of this achievable without the team we had. Except for the guy on the right, all he did was point fingers. Thanks for your time. Any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
How long did that take you?